All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are heading deep into a topic that you see all over online health forums. We're talking about a pretty complex world of genetic variations, B vitamins, and some really confusing side effects. And it all kicks off with a question that, honestly, a lot of people are asking themselves. Okay, let's get right to it. This question from a Reddit user really gets to the heart of a super tricky but vital issue for so many people who are navigating this MTHFR gene variation. I mean, why would the vitamin that's supposed to be better or more active actually end up causing problems?
And this isn't just some random post. It's a story you hear over and over again. Someone finds out they have this MTHFR variation. They're told to take methylfolate, but instead of feeling better, bam, they get hit with anxiety or this weird flu-like fatigue. But then they switch to a different form, like folinic acid, and poof, the side effects are gone. It just doesn't seem to make any sense on the surface.
So to really understand what's going on here, we have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the biological blueprint, if you will. The answer is tucked away inside this fundamental process called methylation, and it all starts with that MTHFR gene. First things first, let's get the language right, because it matters. Functional medicine expert Dr. Isabella Wentz makes such a great point about this. It's way more accurate, and frankly less scary, to call this a variation instead of a mutation. It's a super common genetic trait that just means your body has its own unique way of processing certain nutrients. So what's the MTHFR gene's main gig? Well, it's basically the instruction manual for building a really important enzyme. And you can think of that enzyme as a key worker on this massive, non-stop assembly line that's running in your body 24/7. I absolutely love this analogy from a Reddit user. It's just perfect. It's such a brilliant way to picture it. Methylation isn't just one thing. It's like the grout in a beautiful mosaic. It's the essential stuff that holds countless different parts of your body together and keeps everything working smoothly. And we are not talking about some minor background chore here. Methylation is an absolute powerhouse. It's involved in literally everything, from repairing your DNA and cooking up mood-regulating neurotransmitters like serotonin to getting rid of heavy metals and keeping your hormones in check. So you can see how if an MTHFR variation puts the brakes on this process, it could create all kinds of ripple effects.
And this brings us right back to that original Reddit post. If your body has a tougher time processing folate because of this gene variation, what's the right tool for the job? What's the best form of the vitamin to take? Because, as you're about to see, not all vitamin B9 is created equal, not by a long shot.
This table here really lays it all out. On one hand, you've got folic acid. That's the synthetic version they add to fortified foods. If you have an MTHFR variation, your body can really struggle to convert it, and it might even build up. But then you have folinic acid and methylfolate. These guys are biologically active, which means they're like pre-approved, ready to go. They can hop right into the methylation cycle much more easily, basically taking a shortcut around that genetic slowdown.
Okay, so here's the million-dollar question, right? This is the heart of the puzzle. If methylfolate is the final, most direct form, the one that completely bypasses the MTHFR roadblock, then why on earth does it make some people feel so crummy? Well, the answer isn't really about the vitamin, it's about balance.
It really helps to think about methylation like a spectrum. You can be undermethylated or you can be overmethylated. Now, if someone's body is already in a state of undermethylation, giving them a really potent supplement like methylfolate is kind of like flooring the gas pedal in a car that's been sitting in the cold. It can push the system way too far, way too fast, and trigger symptoms of overmethylation. We're talking anxiety, panic, insomnia, and that perfectly explains those heavy side effects our Reddit user was talking about.
But, the conversation around MTHFR doesn't just stop there. In the research world and in online communities, you often see it connected to other pretty complex health conditions. So let's explore a couple of those connections.
A number of studies have pointed out a connection between issues with folate metabolism, the MTHFR variation, and autism spectrum disorder. The idea is that if the body can't process folate properly, it could have an impact on neurological development. And this has actually led some researchers to look into whether using these active forms of folate, like folinic acid, could help bypass some of those metabolic roadblocks.
But, and this is a really, really big but, it is absolutely critical that we add this context from the Autism Science Foundation. They make it very clear that autism is incredibly complex. It's not caused by any one single thing. The real science points to a huge combination of hundreds of genes and all sorts of environmental factors. It's a mosaic, not a light switch.
Now, let's look at another piece of the puzzle.
Back in 2020, a study came out that highlighted a pretty significant link between one specific MTHFR variant, it's called the C677T variant, and hypothyroidism, which is the condition most often caused by the autoimmune disease Hashimoto's.
And this is where the science really connects with people's real-life stories. Dr. Wentz talks about how, for her personally and in her practice, supporting her methylation pathways was a total game-changer. It was the key that helps her finally resolve these stubborn symptoms like anxiety, heavy periods, and even a skin rash that just wouldn't go away.
So, after going down this whole rabbit hole, from Reddit threads to genetic science and clinical research, where does that leave us? What's the big takeaway here? Well, it's that there is no one-size-fits-all answer. There just isn't. It all comes down to something called biochemical individuality. We're all different. Look, the goal of all this information isn't so you can self-diagnose based on a gene test. Not at all. It's about becoming an empowered, informed partner in your own health. And that journey starts with just understanding these basic concepts, focusing on what you can control, like your diet, and probably most important of all, really listening to your own body's feedback. Honestly, before you even start thinking about a complicated supplement routine, the foundation is always food. The foods you see right here, they provide folate in its natural, active forms, the forms your body knows exactly what to do with. Making these a regular part of your diet is the absolute best first step you can possibly take. So at the end of the day, this whole deep dive isn't about finding a new label to slap on your health problems. It's really about gaining a new lens to look through. Understanding your own unique genetic blueprint, including something like an MTHFR variation, is an incredibly powerful tool. It lets you move beyond the one-size-fits-all advice and take a more personal, a more nuanced, and ultimately, a more empowered approach to your own health. It's about moving from confusion to clarity.